Today I'm going to film a video that has a, what do you call it? A cameo with Addison Chen. We're going to talk about how we deal with our finances as a married couple now. Why? Where are you going? Where are you going? He doesn't want to be filmed, but at the same time he wants to be filmed, so. Hello. Say hi. That's his way of saying hello in the video. Say hello.
What's up? I'm not part of this.
What is this? I wanted to go over this video because ever since we got married about 2 months ago, we actually changed the way we handled our finances. If you saw the credit card videos or the honeymoon videos, you would know that we have actually been doing it where I put all of my finances and my expenses and our expenses through my credit card so we can get the credit card points. But that is still the same, actually. The only difference is what goes on behind the scenes. So when it comes to bills, when it comes to tracking, when it comes to even having a bank account that is now joint, that's different. But I think, like, from what I've heard, the way that we have it is a little bit more on the modern way, and then the ways that, like, the traditional people have it, we are not doing that. I don't believe in that for many reasons, but I'm not going to go into it. Maybe I will, but like, comment down below if you have different opinions. But we have, just to kind of say it out there, we have our own individual bank accounts and we have a joint bank account. We use the joint bank account only for joint expenses, and that really means like bills such as mortgage, HOA dues, property tax, utilities, or joint expenses that we need around the house, like let's say for example a kitchen mat or a dishwasher that is broken, or a frying pan or of some sort that is like a joint asset, or it's not, I mean those kind of things are not assets, but like basically things that we would use as a couple in this household or in general. Like for example, if we want to do an Uber, we would probably put that out there. And so here is actually the way that we had this all split up. We had it where we had them all in little buckets, and then we talked about how much money we would budget towards that. And so with that bucket, we had it where we kind of backtracked, like, okay, how much money should we do in direct deposit from our paychecks into this? And we divided by 2 and we divided by 2. So 2 people, 2 paychecks per month. So in the end, it was like the total amount of money here divided by 4 is how much we should put into our direct deposit. In the making, I also had to close a few of my bank accounts because I did not have the money / energy to want to keep all these bank accounts just for the sake of keeping them there. So I did close my Bank of America. I think I only have Chase now and American Express for savings, but because of that, I was like, I was actually sending in money to my Bank of America just for the sake of keeping it alive, and because like you would get no fee if you did direct deposit. So now I'm like, okay, well, if I'm going to put it into another bank account, I kind of have to close it, or I would just have to eat the cost, which makes no sense. So our joint bank account is actually with Chase, and the reason why we did that was because our mortgage is with Chase, and we both have Chase banking checking accounts, so it's the easiest way for us to do that. And we know that it does Zelle as well. So Zelle was really important for us for whenever we have like a contractor come by and like take a look at our appliances, or someone that needs to go check on plumbing kind of thing. Like they usually do Zelle or Venmo. So those are how we've been doing our joint bank account and how we came up with it. So with this little joint sheet we have here, we looked into the expenses that we had, and then we divided it by 4, of course. As I mentioned before, 2 people, 2 paychecks per month, and then that's how much we put in our direct deposit. And so from there, we actually had it where it's like going straight there, and we know that it's accounted for. We also do have a little bucket as well for potential unaccounted expenses as well that we haven't really done. A lot of this has been inflated. This is not actually our actual cost. The only actual cost is probably like our mortgage, but from that in general, like everything else is a little inflated, so we have buffer room. So we have it in our direct deposit, at least the way I have it. I don't know how Addison has it, but this amount goes to the joint bank account, and then the rest of mine, I actually have a portion of my money after this is taken out going to my savings, and then the rest goes to my checking account. So my savings I don't touch. My checking account is like whatever I can spend for whatever I want. Of course, this is just my actual paycheck. There's other work that I have, like YouTube and coaching and Rover and private cat sitting, that is not accounted in this, but we just have this as like, we set it and forget it. We don't touch this money. It's coming from whatever we need. And to the second part, we have a little sheet that we track. It's not even little anymore, but we did have it for tracking. And here's how we have it set up, where we have the dates, we have like the line item. It first started off with like, here's the line item on the bank statement, and then we got a little bit too tired, so we just like ended up writing the name of whatever it was about instead of following by the bank statement. Because if we looked at the bank statement, it's gonna be hard to figure out what it is, because sometimes it's just kind of random letters depending on how the merchants are doing it. And then we have the initials of the person that like incurred the cost from the bank account. Either we were like Zelling each other or Venmoing each other, or we like use our own credit cards for this. We don't use our debit card for anything except for like a withdrawal. So the way we've been doing it is we use our credit cards, or mostly I use my credit cards, and then I would basically Zell back the amount of money that I've been using. And we're still using it to mostly my credit cards for almost everything now, except for like, of course, his own expenses will be with his own credit cards, but like our joint will still be with the credit cards for the sake of like, even though we have our honeymoon booked and everything, this is just for the sake of like future joint vacations. And I also have like the stronger credit cards, and I use my credit cards more in terms of like the benefits. Like if I were to travel, I would use it more than he would, because he just works from home and he doesn't really travel as much, except for when he travels with me. So we have a joint bank account. We came up with a joint budget, and we don't actually visit this budget. There's only like one time where the HOA dues actually went up, so we do have to revisit that again. This only happened like literally last month, so we have to kind of increase it a little bit. Or I don't even think we need to increase it, because what we did was like all the wedding gift money went straight to the joint bank account, and all of our paychecks with this deducted amount goes straight to this joint bank account. Or anytime that we have like money coming in as a joint, as in terms of like if someone gave like red envelopes to both of us, it goes straight to that bank account. And then our personal bank accounts is where we like have the rest of our money, do whatever we want with it. We don't actually talk to each other about like how we spend our own personal money. Only our joint bank account, we're talking about each other. So we also have in the joint bank account like a savings section. It's a lot smaller than I think a lot of married couples, because we don't have kids and we don't have any big expenses. We already have a lot of it baked into it. Like for example, maintenance. If we have a new dishwasher, it's like we baked it in already. For like the number of paychecks we've had at this point have probably accumulated. Our dishwasher's broken. So, and I think a dishwasher, when we looked at it, was like around $600 to $800 on the higher end side, and that's including installation. So if we were to do that, we've already kind of collected that amount of money through all the paychecks that we've had. So we don't feel uncomfortable with it. But in terms of the tracking, this is where it was really important for the both of us, because it's very hard to see like all these random ins and outs and not know what it's from. Like the easy ones are the paycheck, because you see the company on there. But when it comes to like withdrawal, you want to know, where's that from? What are you using that for? And we have a whole tracking sheet. And the way I built it was, we have like the actual amount in a negative or positive form. And then from there, it has a beginning and ending balance. This is using my little finance and accounting background from school. So I did a beginning and ending balance, and then I had that actually like deduct or add whatever the amount was that was being used or added. And from there, like we would look at that ending balance number and see if it matches up with the bank account. That is like the easiest way to make sure, so you're not like actually counting and making sure like, oh, I think we're missing this amount. But it also gives us an idea of like, okay, when we have the dates in there, and honestly, we haven't been that diligent. Like if something was incurred, we don't do it the same day. We just kind of like, oh, it's time to do the expenses. Put it in there, and then I just kind of sort by date, and it will kind of show up the way it's like in the bank statement. And then from there, all we have to really worry about is like the actual ending balance is matching up with the bank account. And that way we know like, okay, everything is accounted for. So we also do have a little memo section, or a little like note section, that if we wanted to figure out like, oh, we bought it through Amazon, or we got it through a plumber, or we like what was the reasoning for whatever that line item was. And all of these lines, we actually have a little checkbox as well, that on Sundays, and we've kind of been a little bit slacking on this part, at least like the past month or so, because we've been busy. But there's a little checkbox that on Sunday nights, and this is actually when we do like Rover nights too, when we try to figure out our calendar for Rover, that we review our finances, and then we look at it and say like, okay, do we both agree with this? Do we both know that this is happening in our bank account? check, and then that's considered the reviewed box. So that's what we have, and honestly, I think our finances are very simple because of that. Our personal expenses, like, I don't know what I know what he spends on, and he knows what I spend on. He's giving me those looks right now. But I'm not gonna judge him and be like, hey, why are you spending $100 on a card? I just exposed him. But he spent $100 on a card, but I'm not going to care, because at the end of the day, it's his money, and at the end of the day, whatever I spend money on is my money. So as long as like our joint bank account stays kosher, stays clean, and we have everything correct, and we're prepared, because like right now we have a pretty healthy joint bank account, so if any emergencies happen, we should be fine. We do have our own personal savings as well. I have my own personal savings. I think he has a few savings accounts. It's not just one, he has multiple, and then he also has his checking accounts, and I have my one checking account. I had to reduce it, but mine is very simple. I have like only one savings account, one checking account, and then not including the joint bank account. And then I have a bunch of credit cards, because I am a credit card hoe, so I got all the points. So I have it pretty simple. I want to keep it simple that way, so I know like what the money is going to. In the past, I've had my Bank of America as like, here's all my bills, and then my Chase is like my spending money. Like I split it up that way, and then I would have some money go to my savings. So my Chase is like basically whatever is in my checking account is what I can spend, which sounds weird, because I think some people, their goal is like, let's have as high as they can in their checking account, and then they just like have to make sure they have enough money for bills. But because I have it already like direct deposited into a separate bank account, I didn't have to worry about that. In this case, we have it in our joint bank account, so it's pretty much the same concept, except now it's like actually in a bank account together, as opposed to before we would take turns paying, or that it's coming from me and I Venmo request him. We even had it on the calendar before, like, okay, on this day you Venmo me, or you Zelle me the HOA dues. Now it's just going straight to a joint bank account, and we have everything done through auto pay as well. So everything is pretty much good to go. I think the only times that we're worried about is like, oh wow, we have like this $5,000 expense. How are we going to pay for our bills? But to be honest, we have a pretty good healthy amount right now, because of the fact that we have a little wiggle room for almost every single category that we have. So hopefully that helps. I'm not going to share the link to our sheet, because that's just invasive, but whatever you saw on the screen is what you would see. And I will actually leave a template though, if you're interested in using like our little joint tracking form. But in the same sheet, I'll also include like the buckets that we had that created like what we should be doing for direct deposit, in case this is something you're interested in. So let me know what you think down below, and how do you do it, because I know some people that don't even have their own personal bank accounts. They just go only one. The cat just did something stupid. What was he doing? I think he was jumping up and then he fell down. But that was basically it. Well, how do you do it? I'm kind of curious. I know some people that put everything into one joint bank account, and then everything comes from there. And they have to, even like for their own personal expenses, they have to talk to their partner like, hey, I want to spend money on this dinner with friends. I'm like, that just feels weird. I think that's weird. We're in the modern age, so we can spend the money however we spent it, as long as our joint is okay. So in this case, we get our independence, and we still get to do whatever we want in the joint way. So how do you do it? I don't want to make it seem like this is the way to do it, or that this is the only right way to do it. This is just the way that makes sense for both Addison and me. But let me know. And then I'm also gonna give Addison a chance to talk for himself.
What? I'm busy right now.
Do you like this way of using our joint bank account for joint expenses?
Yeah, that's good.
Do you have any comments for anyone that is in a relationship / living together / married together in terms of finances?
I guess before dating, let's talk about it first.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I think like it's even funny because we talked about finances before we met up. So like when I say meet up, I meant like first date. So we were very in line with what we thought was right and what we should have been doing. So we never had, I think like actually it was funny because we took a couples assessment, and the financial management was the highest like strength in our, it was like really, really good compared to everything else. Not to say that everything else was bad, but like it was just really good. I was like, I know. I'm wearing green, by the way, for the sake of money. So no, it was not intentional, but yeah, bye. Oh, by the way, I wanted to say any money for cats is still on me. We do have a little section though for cats for Rover, but specifically for our cats, more like my cats, because technically they're my cats. It's on me.
Yeah, she's ready for Barbie.
I'm ready for Barbie. Well, she's not ready for Barbie. She's not wearing pink. But her collar's pink. Let me know down below. Are you watching Barbie? Did you watch it already? What did you think? Bye-bye. Say Charlotte. Charlotte, bye-bye. Bye-bye.